We're here today on behalf of the Future Hospitality Summit with their Women Power and Women Hospitality and Women in Hospitality in Saudi. And it is my pleasure to have Shaikha Al Nowais here with us today, coming to us from Abu Dhabi. And we're going to talk about all the great things happening around Vision 2030 in Saudi, along with, what it's like to be a woman working in Saudi. And of course, you are with Rotana Resorts, which I had the privilege of staying at when you guys were putting on the Forbes Women Summit a couple of years ago. So I personally experienced a Rotana resort, and they are absolutely beautiful. So I just want to say on behalf of Future Hospitality Summit, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, and we're very delighted you had a great experience, Eddie. And let's hope we see you again at the Saadiyat Rotana Resort in Abu Dhabi next year. I'm very delighted to be with you on this podcast as well, and I'll be more than happy to share my thoughts with you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Since and realizing Dubai and Abu Dhabi and the UAE are as fabulous as Saudi. Saudi is certainly going through a major transition. Perhaps analogous would be over 20 years ago, the first time I visited Dubai and they were starting in tourism. And now the KSA has really harnessed the power of that with their Vision 2030 plan. And it's hard to believe already in 2024, and they are just a few years away from living that reality, along with the fact, just as Dubai hosted World Expo a couple of years ago, they're going to be hosting World Expo in 2030. So with the hospitality landscaping changing there as dramatically as it has, I'd love to know your thoughts as to the evolution and how do you see that continuing to evolve, but particularly from a female executive's perspective.
Eddie, Saudi has a huge population, and it's one of the biggest countries in the region when you compare it to other GCC countries and neighboring countries. And what's good, what's so exciting about Saudi is its rich culture and tradition. Every destination has its own identity. Every destination has its own a different culture, and it has a very different journey for guests to experience. And this itself is something that they can always leverage on in Saudi Arabia. If you compare it to other neighboring countries. What's good about that is that they have embraced the vision of 2030. They have a very, very focused vision on not only focusing on oil, but opening up their economy and focusing on other sectors. And tourism is one of the major contributors to their economy. From a female perspective, I think this evolution will particularly be significant in terms of employment. And, you don't have to necessarily tap into the pool of, it will allow you to tap into a bigger pool of talent and not restrict you to only the male talent. So there's a lot. For example, in Rotana, we have 30% of our employees are women in Saudi Arabia, and they are as good. They're qualified. They've earned it. They're dedicated, and they will be a huge part in the growth of the tourism sector in Saudi Arabia, I believe.
I absolutely agree with you. And even in my own experience, the numerous times I've been there, I have seen not only the evolution of women in hospitality, but just women in general. As an example, the first time I went there 7 years ago, women were not allowed to dress in sort of Western attire. They were not allowed to drive. They were not allowed to sort of, integrate in a social environment with others, other men. And it's really interesting to watch. You know, in America, we have an expression, you put your money where your mouth is, and meaning they said it and they did it. And it is a reality there. And I've seen a wonderful, wonderful evolution, and it's just the beginning. And so with regard to women, that 30% of your team members there are women is fantastic. And I also say, you know, you hire for the personality and train for the skill. And women, when I talk to women in the KSA, they are very, very excited about being trained, being put into these roles, and with the opportunity to grow and have a career. So it's very interesting that, you know, you guys in Rotana have 30%. How do you feel the women that you are hiring and training and are working are enjoying that experience?
They are really enjoying it. You know, they're very hardworking. As you said, you know, they've embraced the opportunity of opening up in a very, very positive manner, Edie. And when it comes to hospitality, there's a lot that you can give. There's a lot that, from a Saudi perspective, you can showcase to travelers that are coming from abroad to explore the culture, to explore the country. So there's no better representative than a Saudi national to showcase or to transfer this type of.
Yes, I agree with you. I have also said from day one of going to Saudi, the genuine warmth and hospitality and the nature of the people there and the manner they deliver that. I always say if you can trademark it, it would be a fantastic thing because it is very unique as opposed to other cultures and delivering a hospitality experience that I've experienced around the world. So it's a wonderfully unique experience for guests to experience.
And they will be the best ambassador for their countries. They're really
absolutely
people that come from abroad, and especially people that want to explore the Middle East and the GCC. They want to understand the culture. They want to interact with their people. They want to, and this is what we're trying to, through the people that work with us in Rotana, we're trying as much as we can to show people the perfect example of what Saudi Arabia is.
Well, I think you and your peer companies must be doing a great job of it because the KSA enjoyed over 100 million visitors last year, and they have a very, very aggressive goal going forward. So you will certainly have an opportunity of a world audience because those 100 million and soon to be 150 million are coming from all over the world, not just the GCC region. So it's wonderful that the Rotana team members, and especially the female team members, can deliver that experience and sort of spread that word because you are correct. They want an authentic KSA experience. They want to integrate into the culture. And then they do become, just like I have become, a global ambassador for encouraging people to come there on their holiday. So in this future for women there, how do you see women even expanding further to assist and lead in continuing to achieve these goals for welcoming the world travelers to the KSA? Are there any special programs at Rotana you're putting in place? Or I guess, how do you better prepare your leaders?
We already have a program in place called Taro, which is basically it puts the fresh graduate on an accelerated career plan to become to have a managerial position with the company. So it fast tracks you to become an assistant director or a manager in 18 months. This is a great program, and I think it's going to allow a lot of fresh graduates to be more encouraged to join the hospitality industry. And we're not doing that only in Saudi Arabia, but we're doing that across the globe and every country and city we operate from.
That's fantastic, really, because it's so empowering, not only to women,
Absolutely.
but to your team members
so this
and
allows
your
us
employees.
to retain talent, develop them, and encourage them to stay in the tourism industry.
Fabulous. So since this is part of the future hospitality women's portion, if you will, as a female, and I can say this myself as an over 40-year corporate executive in hospitality, the mom of a 34-year-old now son, how do you find balancing in a GCC or KSA and Abu Dhabi lifestyle, being a female with those other things that are in general important to all of us as females? First of all, keeping ourselves healthy, in shape, activity. I always say working out, endorphins get released. It makes us a healthier, happier person. And then a personal life, if a female desires to have a husband, have children, how do you find that balance, or what advice do you give to women, not only in the KSA and in the UAE, but really around the world, for managing balance in 2024 and beyond with regard to their own personal health and well-being, and with regard to family, if that's what they desire, a career and family?
Nothing should stop you from growing, I think. And if you're surrounded with the right support system, if you're surrounded by the right people who will support you, you will always be able to excel. Personally, I'm a very active person, so I believe having the right lifestyle, the right healthy lifestyle is very important. I personally exercise every single day in the morning, because that's the only way I can get through my day. So it is very important. Prioritizing. I personally don't have a family. I don't have kids, but I have a mom, I have a dad, I have siblings, and I always, family comes first. Always in our culture, but I always find ways as well not to compromise on this time when it comes to my job. So when you set targets, when you have deadlines, when you have a proper timeline, I don't think you'd be able to it won't be difficult for you to have the right balance. And I think even if you spend quality time, it's also enough. So it's quality, not quantity. Prioritizing as well. Prioritizing is very important. So you have to know what tasks you have in place. Time management is key, and prioritizing is key.
I agree 100%. And like you, family is always priority one to me and important to me. And that balance, I said throughout COVID, if people would just focus more on healthy living and exercise, they would get through COVID, I think, in at least a happier way. And for me, I get up to fit it in, to prioritize and balance, because it's very important to me as well to be active and remain healthy. I get up at 5 a.m. to work out, because that's really the only time in my day I can fit it in. But it's a wonderful thing when you integrate nature. I walk outside, I watch the sunrise, and I really do believe those endorphins that get released make us healthier, happier, and empower us even further for our day, to have that time management and balance for the things that are important: family, friends, health, career, all of the above. Well, this has really, really been wonderful. They wanted us to only limit it to about 5 questions. I wish we had more time, but I would like to ask you if you have any closing comments or thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience.
I think if you have a dream, you have to pursue your dream. Nothing should stop you from what you love. And, you have to set your intentions right and just go for it.
Excellent, excellent advice. And I will only add to it, there's a saying here that we say, you have to dream anyway, so you might as well dream big, dream spectacularly big. And nothing should, exactly. And good old-fashioned hard work. I was told as a child, find your passion, get a great education, and follow your passion. So I encourage all of the women watching this to really pursue and follow their passions and to dream. Never. It's not an option. Excellent, excellent advice. Well, on behalf of everybody at the Future Hospitality Summit, and particularly the Women Power Movement as part of that great organization, I'd like to say shukran. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm looking forward to meeting you in person.
The same. I'm looking forward to seeing you and all of the people watching this, hopefully in person, very soon at the Future Hospitality Summit. Have a great day, and shukran again.